call you back.
Hi everyone, and welcome to the William Grand George Theater here at Roger Williams University for tonight's performance brought to you by Stage Company.
The performance you are going to see tonight is entirely student-run and totally the bomb. The performance you are seeing has been acted, directed, designed, and produced by students and members of the club Stage Company.
So before we get started, we have a couple things we kind of got to go over. So like using your cell phone, totally not cool, don't do it. But also, flash photography could totally distract our actors and performers during the show.
In the case of an emergency, please exit the doors through that you came in today, or behind these curtains, down the stairs, and out the big blue doors. Well, it's time for us to bounce. Enjoy the show.
Excuse me. Hi. I have a reservation for flight 352 going to New London, Connecticut.
Name?
Jennifer Sumner.
Ticket, please. Smoking or non-smoking?
Non-smoking.
That was a joke. The plane only seats 8 people. The whole thing is a non-smoking section.
Oh, that's okay. I don't smoke anyways. Did you say the plane only seats 8 people?
Yes. So I guess you've never flown with us before.
Oh, I've never flown with anyone before.
This is your first flight?
Yeah. It's so empty in here. Am I too early?
No, you're right on time. So you've never flown before?
No. I've never had the reason, or frankly, the desire to fly.
Now don't be nervous. You've absolutely nothing to worry about. Phoenix Airlines has been in business for over 50 years. Our planes may be small, but they're quite durable. And our pilots are among the best in the business. Now, you just have a seat over there, and our ground hostess will let you know it's time to board. Oh, I should warn you. There are no bathrooms on board. You know better now.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello. Hi.
Do you fly very often?
No. Do you?
Oh, I love it. My husband and I live in Connecticut, but we fly to New York all the time. We're retired now, and we love to see all the new Broadway shows. On this trip, we saw the David Letterman show. We're both big fans of his. Wait till you retire. I bet you'll travel a lot, too.
Oh no, not me. This is my first flight, and I plan for it to be my last. I've always been too scared to fly.
Oh, that's too bad. Are you afraid now?
Petrified.
Well, you have nothing to worry about. We fly all the time. This is only our second time with Phoenix Airlines, but the last time we had a very comfortable ride and great service. You couldn't be in better hands.
How strange. For a minute there, what you said just sounded vaguely familiar.
All set?
Yeah.
Good. Honey, it's this young lady's first time flying today.
Oh, really?
So, how long are you going to be in Connecticut?
It's just for the weekend. I'm going to be in my sister's wedding.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Flight 352, non-stop service to New London, has been delayed due to adverse weather conditions. The plane will be arriving in approximately 15 minutes, and you'll be boarding shortly thereafter.
Thank God the flight's delayed. I was afraid I was going to miss it.
No, you even got a little time to relax before departure.
I sure wish it would stop raining. I don't know how a little plane like that is going to stay up in weather like this.
Don't worry. If it was raining too hard or it was too windy, they wouldn't fly. The pilot wants to land safely just as much as the passengers do.
I guess so.
So, what part of New York are you from?
For the last 10 years, I've lived on Long Island, but now I go to NYU.
Because you look awfully familiar to me.
I don't think we've ever met.
Oh, well. By the way, my name is Liz Davidson, and this is my husband, Jack.
It's nice to meet you. I'm Jennifer Sumner.
Hi.
You know, I've been flying all my life.
Yeah, but she's only been up in a plane twice.
I've been flying all my life and love it. It's the most relaxing and fun form of travel there is.
Yeah, where'd you read that?
It's true. Once you're on board, you can put your seat back and go to sleep. You can read. On the longer flights, you can even watch a movie or listen to music. You can't do that on a train.
I wanted to take the train.
You always want to take the train.
That's right. Trains don't take you up 50,000 feet in the air.
Planes don't go any higher than 36,000 feet.
Whatever. Either way, it's a long way up and a long way down.
Would you stop that? You're scaring her.
Hell, even John Madden wouldn't take an airplane. He bought his own bus so he wouldn't have to fly.
Well, John Madden's a wimp.
You don't see life insurance booths in train stations and bus terminals, do you?
Did somebody say life insurance? Allow me to introduce myself. My name is Herman Schneider.
We have credentials.
Okay, well,
How about you, little lady?
What about me?
Do you have life insurance?
What do I need with life insurance? I'm a college student.
Sweetie, everybody needs life insurance. You have bills, don't you?
Just tuition and one credit card.
Well, babe, do you want your parents to get stuck paying off your debts?
I'm going to be paying off my debts. I'm 24 and in perfect health. I plan to be around for a long time.
Honey, baby, we all plan to be around for a long time, but that's why I'm in business. You know what they say about best laid plans? One little 747 goes down and all of a sudden, 250 people who plan to be around for a long time bite the big one.
Would you shut up? She's scared enough as it is. Jennifer, don't pay him any attention. We're going to be just fine.
Sir, you forgot your ticket.
Oh yeah, won't get far without that.
And you forgot to check your bags at the ticket counter.
Oh, I'm not checking these. It's my carry-on luggage.
Carry-on luggage?
That's right.
And just where do you plan to carry these on?
On the plane, where else?
Sir, have you never flown on an airline before?
No.
Didn't think so. This plane has 8 seats in it, 10 if you count the pilot and co-pilot. There are no overhead compartments, and there's no room for anything, including your feet under the seat. There's nowhere to put carry-on luggage.
Well, that's ridiculous. What kind of a plane can't accommodate carry-on
A
luggage?
small plane. Carry-on luggage is meant for airliners. This is a puddle jumper.
A what?
Never mind. Now, let's get a few things straightened out, and you can bring your bags to the ticket
Well,
counter.
what do you mean, get a few things straightened out?
For starters, this ticket is a mess. I'm going to void it out and issue a new one.
That's not necessary.
Yes, it is. You can hardly read it because the ink is smudged, the copy is torn, and the date is wrong. And I refuse to scratch out or write over anything.
God, do you have to be such a damn perfectionist?
Yes, I do. There. Now hurry up and get your luggage to the ticket counter so they can load it on with everybody else's. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Flight 352, non-stop service to New London, has been delayed due to adverse weather conditions. The plane will be arriving in approximately 15 minutes and you'll be boarding shortly thereafter.
That's what you said a few minutes ago.
Well, I'm saying it again.
What's going on? Is something wrong with the plane?
No, there's nothing wrong with the plane. Just a little setback due to the storm. Nothing to worry about.
I told you we should have taken the train.
Oh, be quiet. Between you and the Grim Reaper insurance salesman, you've got this poor girl scared to death.
You know, I really am starting to get scared. I'm not sure this was such a good idea. Is there a train going to Connecticut tonight?
I'm sure there is. If you find out, let me know. I'll go with you.
Knock it off. Relax. Both of you, we're going to be fine. Tell me about your sister's wedding. Are you going to be a bridesmaid?
I'm actually going to be the maid of honor.
Oh, that's lovely. I'm sure you'll look beautiful. Have you ever been at a wedding before?
No, this is my first. Having a lot of firsts this weekend.
Yes, and you'll enjoy every one of them. When Jack and I got married, we
Ladies
had...
and gentlemen, Flight 352, non-stop service to New London, has just landed and is approaching the gate at this time. The passengers will be deplaning momentarily, and we will prepare the plane for boarding as soon as possible. We regret the delay, and thank you for your patience.
I sure wish they'd hurry up. I'm dreading this enough as it is.
Now, honey, I told you, you have nothing to worry about. We're going to have a wonderful flight. Besides, think of how awful it would be if we had to go everywhere by car or train or boat. Everything would be overcrowded and it would take forever. If you had to drive to Connecticut instead of fly, it would take you 3 hours. This way it'll take half an hour, 45 minutes tops. Besides, I'm sure you've heard that it's safer to fly in a plane than it is to drive in a car.
Yeah, I've heard that before.
It's true. Last year there were thousands of car accidents in this country and only 7 airplane accidents. If I had it my way,
I'm going to church tomorrow because thank God we got here safely.
God, that was awful.
What do we do with these when we're done with them?
Oh, I see you just flew on our airline. Give it to me and I'll put it in the back of the others.
That's it. I'm going home. I'll just mail my sister her wedding present and just tell her I'm deathly sick and can't make it.
Now, lying to your sister is not going to do anybody any good.
If I get on that plane, I won't be lying.
Okay, you guys, let's go.
Wait, what's going on? Who are you?
I'm your pilot, your co-pilot, your stewardess, your ground hostess, you name it, I'm it.
Oh my God, I knew it. We're all gonna die.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Flight 352, non-stop service to New London, Connecticut. We will be climbing to an altitude of 20,000 feet, and our flying time is estimated at 35 minutes, so we should be arriving in New London at approximately 8:45 this evening. please fasten your seatbelts. And as we taxi down the runway, please familiarize yourself with the safety instructions located in the seat pocket in front of you. In case of an emergency landing, you will be instructed according to the type of landing we are forced to make. Should we lose altitude at any time, oxygen masks will drop from overhead. Since we have a limited supply of masks, if there are more than 4 passengers on board, you will have to share. I hope you have a pleasant flight, and thank you for flying Phoenix Airlines.
Share. Did you say we'll have to share oxygen masks?
Well, let's see. Since we have a limited supply of masks, if there are more than 4 passengers on board, you will have to share. I hope you have a pleasant flight, and yes, that's what I said.
How do you share an oxygen mask?
I don't know. I've never done it before. I have my own. I guess it'd be like sharing anything else. You take turns. In this case, you take turns breathing. 1 for you and 1 for me. But don't worry, there are only 4 of you on board. And besides, we hardly ever have to use these anyways.
Hardly ever?
I'll get you for this, Liz.
Prepare for takeoff. Everybody buckle up. Here we go. I love this part.
Someday, somehow, I'll get you for this.
Now, honey, relax. Think of all the fun we had this weekend. Maybe try to take a little nap.
You know I can't sleep on these things.
I know. Well, it'll all be over before you know it.
I guess so.
Hey, this is weird.
What's that?
Didn't she say we'd be flying at 20,000 feet?
Yeah.
Well, it's still light out, but I don't see anything. I mean, at 20,000 feet, we should be able to see the clouds below us, and there should be plenty of them in this weather, and wouldn't you expect there to be a lot of turbulence in a storm?
Hey, don't complain. Who wants turbulence?
I'm not complaining. I don't want it. I just think it's odd we're not having it. It's such a perfectly smooth ride.
Well, that's fine by me.
I mean, look out the window. There's nothing.
That's okay. I'll take your word for it.
How are we all doing? Everybody comfortable? What are you doing back here?
Yeah, get up there and watch where we're going.
Don't worry, we're on cruise control.
You mean automatic pilot?
Something like that.
Well, I don't like it. What if we hit something?
Like what, a sparrow? I promise you, we're not gonna hit anything and nothing's gonna hit us. We've got the sky to ourselves.
Well, I'd feel a whole lot better if you were sitting up there at the controls.
All right, if it'll make you happy.
You know, she wouldn't have come back here if she didn't have everything under control.
Maybe if she had a co-pilot with her, I wouldn't mind. But not when she's up there alone.
Remember the movie God is My Co-Pilot?
Oh, please. When I'm 20,000 feet in the air, I want to be able to see the woman behind the wheel.
Well, boys and girls, I have some good news and some bad news. The good news is we made it to New London. The bad news is we can't land in New London.
Why not?
We have to circle.
What do you mean, circle?
You know.
How long do we have to do that for?
I wish I knew.
I swear to God, this is the worst night of my life. If this marriage doesn't last, I'm killing the both of them.
Well, as long as we're all stuck up here like a bunch of cats chasing their own tails, could it interest anyone in a game of poker?
Why not? Nothing else to do. Come on, Liz. Switch places with him so we can kill some time up here.
Okay, but no betting.
No betting. You gamble with our lives on this godforsaken plane, and you tell me no betting.
All right, all right. Go ahead.
Do you always carry a deck of cards with you?
Yep. You know what they say, unlucky in love.
Maybe it's your clothes.
What's wrong with my clothes?
No one dresses like that anymore. Except maybe Wayne Newton.
Well, every once in a while, lady luck is good to me.
Let's see whose side she's on tonight.
How are you doing, honey? You still nervous?
Not really. I can't really explain it, but I'm actually sort of relaxed.
Maybe it's because we're having such a smooth and comfortable ride.
Yeah, that must be it.
Hey, when are you gonna land this thing? My watch seems to have stopped, but it feels like we've been circling for hours.
Yeah, doesn't this plane ever run out of gas?
You don't get it, do you? None of you. You still don't get it.
Get what?
Think about it, Liz. You seem to be the smartest one here. A while back, I thought you almost had it.
Had what?
This plane is not going to land. This aircraft made its final landing 5 years ago, just east of New London.
What? You're crazy. Besides, the airport is in New London.
Missed it by that much?
But the only thing east of New London is the Atlantic Ocean.
Bingo!
Who were the passengers on board that night?
Don't any of you look familiar to each other?
Well, yes. In fact, I was telling Jennifer before we boarded that she looked awfully familiar to me, and Now that you mention it, I have experienced deja vu more than once tonight.
Yeah, say that.
too.
That's because, as deja vu indicates, you've done this before. We've all done this before. 5 times before, to be exact.
When?
Every August 15th for the last 5 years.
Where are we going?
Nowhere. We're caught in an eternal loop, the alternate Bermuda Triangle.
Then how do we get out of it?
Now, if I knew the answer to that, would I be here?
I guess not.
Are you telling us that we're dead and that we've been dead for 5 years?
Now you're catching on.
You're nuts!
Yeah, you really shouldn't be making jokes like that, especially when you have people on board who are afraid of flying.
Yeah, really.
I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but this is no joke.
Do you mean to tell us that we'll be taking this same flight over and over again for all eternity?
Every August 15th.
But why? What did we do to deserve this?
And what do we do with the other 364 days of the year?
Why didn't we just get killed and die? Ever hear of rest in peace?
How come I don't feel dead?
Feel dead?
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know. Does this happen to everyone when they die, or just us lucky ones who get sentenced to a hell of repeating their untimely deaths annually for all eternity?
But tell us now.
Hey, don't ask me. Who do I look like, God?
That's another thing. Who are you? How come you knew we were dead and we didn't?
Because I'm the captain.
No, really. How did you know?
I don't know. I just did. I guess one of us had to know, and since I'm at the controls, I had to know where we were going, or at least where we were not going.
So you really don't know where we're headed?
No, my job is to get us up in the air, and that's it. Once we're up here, it's out of my hands.
You know, I'm always the first to try to make the best of a bad situation, but this is a tough one. Well, if I must die, I will encounter darkness as a bride and hug it in my arms.
What?
If I must die, I will encounter darkness as a bride and hug it in my arms.
What's that supposed to mean?
I guess it means we might as well accept our deaths and make the best of it.
Where'd you get that crazy idea from?
Shakespeare?
I should have known. Whenever I can't understand what she's saying, she's quoting Shakespeare.
And what's wrong with Shakespeare?
He talks funny.
Okay, just because you don't understand him, don't make him out to be the dummy.
What does he know? He's been dead for 500 years.
Well, he must know what he's talking about.
I like, because I could not stop for death, he kindly stopped for me. The carriage held nothing but ourselves and immortality.
Who said that?
Emily Dickinson?
She's one of my favorites.
Mine too.
How about death sucks?
Who, pray tell, said that?
I did.
I'll drink to that.
Oh, honey, don't encourage him. He couldn't quote literature if his life depended on it.
Don't have to worry about that anymore, do I? Besides, I read a book once.
Yeah, what was it?
Fear Strikes Out.
Oh, great. A 30-year-old book about a wacko baseball player who used to throw tomatoes at the umpire from the stands when he got called out and ran the bases backwards when he got a home run. Literature at its best.
You're such a snob. Something has to be totally understandable before you consider it literature.
Well, anyway, enough of this. Let's get back to the situation at hand. You must know more than you're telling us.
I do, but I've been sworn to secrecy.
By who?
I can't tell you that either. You'll find out soon enough.
I want to know what's going on right now.
All in good time, my pretty. All in good time.
Just tell us this much. We're not really circling endlessly, are we? I mean, we're actually headed somewhere, right?
That's right.
Is it heaven or hell?
Yes.
Well, which is it?
Oh, come on, Liz. Do you really think this is how they bring us to heaven?
But why? I mean, why would we go to hell? We've always been good people.
How many times do you think they've heard that one?
But what are we doing? Why are we here?
Maybe we have to stay on the plane until we figure out why we were sent to hell instead of heaven. That could be part of the agony, is admitting to and figuring out what we did so bad on Earth to be damned for all eternity.
Very good.
Well, I don't like it.
I never met anyone who enjoyed hell.
So let me get this straight. We have to keep repeating this flight over and over again for all eternity until we figure out what we did wrong while we were alive, and then we can begin to serve out time in hell?
That's right.
Maybe we're better off just staying on board. I mean, I don't like it, but it seems hell would be a hell of a lot worse than this.
Yeah, I mean, this hasn't been so bad.
Don't be fooled by the temporarily smooth ride. This is the calm before the storm. Don't forget, for you to come to terms with your demise this time around, you still have to crash into the Atlantic Ocean to repeat. And believe me, none of you want to go through that again. We'll have to face it sooner or later.
Okay, who wants to start?
Why don't you go first?
I've already done my part. This was my sentencing. to spend the rest of eternity bringing condemned souls to their final destination, having to stay with them until they're ready to be delivered, reliving their deaths with them.
Wow, that's the pits.
No kidding. Okay, let's get this show on the road. Since you've come this far, finally, I guess it won't hurt for me to give you a little hint as to what is expected. You're all familiar with the 10 Commandments?
I saw the movie once, but that was a long time ago.
Everybody think back. What was your sin? Jennifer, why don't we start with you?
Well, I stole a candy bar once when I was 7.
I don't think that would do it. Think harder. What's the worst thing you've ever done?
Do you mean like the time I posed for that photographer?
Yeah, like that.
Okay, I needed the money. All my friends were going on a cruise to Europe and I wanted to go with
No
them.
excuses, just stick to the facts.
Well, is that it?
You tell me.
That's the worst thing I've ever done. Unless, does sex count?
Everything counts.
Okay, so I was a little promiscuous.
A little?
Who isn't these days?
Indeed, Herman.
He should go to hell for the way he dresses.
If I were you, I wouldn't throw any stones right now.
Okay.
Well, when I was a little kid, I was a real nerd. I was so good I made everybody sick.
What about when you grew up?
I mean, I gambled a little, but not that often, and never any serious betting. Just a friendly game of poker every now and then.
You have a pretty good poker face, don't you, Herman?
Not bad.
Good enough to use in your business? Is that how you sold so many bogus life insurance policies?
You know about that, huh?
We know about everything, Herman.
Well, I only did that to little old ladies who were alone and didn't have very long to live anyways. What else were they going to spend their money on?
Oh, I'm sure they had a lot of other things to spend their money on than a scam.
Okay, so I blew it. At least I wasn't a slut.
No, you were just a schmuck.
What about Jack?
Look 'em, Dano.
Look who's talking.
Everybody get comfortable. This one's gonna take a while.
Hey, take your pick. I pulverized just about every commandment in the book. But who didn't? I mean, I didn't break all of them. I never killed anyone, except during the war. But that doesn't count. I was just following orders. And besides, they were Nazis. They didn't deserve to live anyway. I never stole anything or cheated anyone like old Herman over here. Income taxes don't count, do they? Nah, that's just the government. And that's the biggest bunch of crooks on earth. They took too much from me, so I took it back from them any way I could. It was my money, so you can't really call that stealing. Let's see. What else? I guess that's it. So if they want to send me to hell for screwing the government and knocking off a few Nazis, let them. Okay, Mother Teresa, it's your turn.
Hey, I wasn't perfect. I know that. But I certainly never expected this. It's probably guilt by association.
Yeah, misery loves company. Come on, Liz. The rest of us have loved with each other. Think of it this way. What have you got left to lose?
That's true, but I honestly can't think of anything I ever did that was so terrible. I mean, I know I wasn't perfect, but I really don't know why I'm here.
Does the name Pancho Villa ring a bell?
Oh, come on, that was a terrible, terrible thing, but it was an accident.
An accident?
Yes, I didn't know it would kill him. I love that dog. What did you do? About 10 years ago, we had a toy poodle named Pancho Villa. One summer's day, I gave him a bath before we were leaving to New York for the weekend. I didn't want to leave him all wet, and towel drying him just didn't do the job well enough. Well, we had just gotten our first microwave oven. My God! Oh my God! Well, I didn't know. How long? 3 minutes? Jesus Christ!
What happened?
He blew up.
Like a cherry bomb on the 4th of July.
Oh my God! You know, I heard about that happening somewhere, but I thought it was just an old wives' tale.
It was. And it was this old wife who did it.
I live with that nightmare for the rest of my life.
It ain't over yet, babe.
I hate to tell you this, but I would send you to hell for that too. Yeah, I guess I would too. Well, there you have it. We've all aired our dirty laundry. Now what?
Well, well, well. What a bunch of pathetic, disgusting degenerates. You're all certainly headed for the right place. Congratulations, sinners. You did it. Now for the part you've all been waiting for. We've just started our final descent to our final destination. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to hell.
At last, someone has made it through this terrible storm for the reading of the will.
Hurry, let me in. It never pours, but when it rains, I'm getting soaked and I don't want my fabric samples to get ruined.
Do something with this, will you be? Hello, Cousin Arlene.
Where is everyone?
You are the first to arrive, but I'm certain the rest will be here as soon as they can get through this terrible storm. We've all waited a long time for the reading of your cousin Earl's will.
No one's waited longer than me. I've been waiting 40 years for this day. You've been keeping house and cooking here at Grace Hound Mansion for as long as I can remember. This place is so gloomy. But every early cloud gets the worm. I brought some toss pillows to brighten things up a bit. I can't wait to start redecorating. As soon as that attorney gets here and reads the will, no one will be able to stop me. You'll see. There. Don't you think that looks better?
You just can't wait, can you? Earl's been murdered, and all you can think about is paisley and brocade. When that attorney gets here and reads the will, you might be in for a surprise. Don't count your chintzes before they hatch, if you know what I mean.
Oh, don't be silly. Of course Earl left Gray's Hound Mansion to me. I'm his only blood relative. And blood runs thicker than a duck's back.
But you forget, I was his private secretary, his very private secretary. I know everything about Earl, especially the 3 F's.
The 3 F's.
Family, friends, and finance. I know it all. I'll get it. I hope it's that attorney.
What are you doing here?
I have every right to be here. I was invited.
You've got a lot of nerve coming here today, of all days.
I tell you, I was invited.
Fat chance.
You're one to talk about that. That's what got you here in the first place.
Stop arguing. Try to have a little respect for the occasion. There'll be plenty of time for fighting later. Anna, I'm sure you know the late Earl Grey's cousin, Cousin Arlene.
Yes, how do you do?
Nice to see you again. Here's my card in case you want to decorate your kennels. I specialize in houndstooth check, you know.
And this is Bea. She's been the housekeeper here for 40 years.
Yes, hello.
She wants 40 beers?
She's old and has lost her hearing. Go back to sleep, Bea. Better yet, why don't you go into the kitchen and fix us some lunch while we're waiting for the attorney and others to arrive?
Others? How many more are coming anyway? I thought this was a private reading of the will. I came straight from the gym. If I had known there were going to be outsiders, I would have changed clothes first.
I'm the only one who knows who was invited. I know everything.
Oh, let me in. It's frightening out there with the rain and the terrible thunder. And I'm afraid of thunder and bugs and heights and...
Yes, Victoria, I know. You're afraid of everything.
And now, murder? To think that Earl was murdered right here, or there, or there, or there! Oh, I don't know where he was murdered, or how. It's so mysterious.
Calm down, Victoria. I know you know everyone here because I know everything.
Oh, I thought that I would be the only one to inherit. I mean, he's Earl's one true love. I'm sure he left the bulk of his estate to me. So I hope that the rest of you won't be too disappointed. This is the last food I'm ever going to prepare in that kitchen. After the reading of the will, I'm out of here. I've had my fill of fixing fancy dishes for that crazy old man and his hounds. I'm tired of cooking. In fact, I'm just plain tired.
I always told you, Bea, Your cooking was for the dogs.
It was bad enough fixing creme brulees, melon custard tarts, and fancy French dishes for Earl. But then I had to go and fix special recipes that K9 gave me for the dogs. Hound hash, doggy delights, and spaniel smoothies.
I'm afraid Bee feels rather overworked and underappreciated. She really did take good care of Earl all those years, cooking his favorite dishes every day.
Enjoy this food, because it's the last of my cooking. Once that attorney gets here, and I get what Earl promised me, I'll be on my way to Cancun or Bermuda.
Bermuda? That's where I wanted Earl to take me on our honeymoon. We were talking marriage, you know. At least I was. And he was objecting less and less. I knew it was a matter of time and I'd wear him down. But I think that Will wore him down first. Him and his workout routines. I think he killed him. He had him doing so many push-ups that his poor old heart couldn't take it. And now he's pushing up daisies.
Once that will is read, I'm collecting my money, and I'm gonna go on a cruise and let someone else fix exotic fancy dishes for me.
I kept telling Earl he shouldn't eat the foods prepared for him. All those greasy foods, swimming in rich gravies and sauces. They were enough to clog arteries from here to Chicago. Don't tell me you're sorry he's dead. I think you were trying to hurry up the process.
Oh, don't look at me like that. Do you really think that I had something to do with his death? Sure, I had plenty of opportunity to poison him, but I didn't. I never let the box of rat poison that sat on the shelf above the stove drop into the tea I made for him every night. Even though I was dog-tired myself, I always fixed his nightly cup of tea with special care.
Oh, Bee, I'm sure no one suspects you. Does anyone know how Earl died? I've been far too busy renovating the mansion to be bothered with details like that. Don't you think a display of Indian baskets would be nice in the marble foyer?
Hello, everyone. I came through the back door so I wouldn't have to walk all around the mansion in the rain. I left a couple of dogs on the front porch. Hope you don't mind, Bee.
As long as they don't track mud inside the house, I don't care what you do with them outside. Just keep them out of the kitchen.
Do you know everyone here?
Well, I seldom leave the kennels, you know. Earl always keeps me so busy training all the dogs. Of course I know Arlene and Bee, but I don't believe I've met the others.
This is K9, Earl's dog trainer. He lives on the estate and does all the training and grooming of the dogs. He is responsible for all the awards Earl won.
Really? I don't think I've ever seen you at a dog show. My name's Anna.
Earl never let me attend. He likes to take all the glory for himself.
And I'm Will. I was Earl's personal trainer. Must have been hard to stay in the background and let Earl collect all the accolades.
Earl always told me he'd make it right for me someday. I guess that day has finally come. When will the will be ready?
Pleased to meet you. I do wish your dogs would stop barking. They sound so ferocious. Hello, here's my card. I can help you decorate that little cottage you live in. Back to the kennels. Do you like Giggle? A penny earned is for a rainy day.
Earl Grey's mansion. Phyllis speaking. Yes. Oh dear. All right. I'll let them know. Thank you for calling. Goodbye. That was the attorney. I just knew it would be because I know everything. The bridge is out and he has to take a detour. He will be a little late, but it shouldn't be much longer. He'd like us all to wait right here. He said we could entertain ourselves. knew you were coming, because I know everything. But why don't you tell all of them how that little argument between you and Earl first got started?
She probably came to celebrate his death. Everyone knows she hated him.
Earl always used to talk about you. I'm glad I get to finally meet you. He always bragged about his dogs running over yours at every dog show.
No one was more surprised than I when I received the call to attend the reading of the will. At first, I thought it was just another one of Earl's dirty tricks, but the attorney assured me it was not. I guess he was finally feeling remorseful over the way he cheated me. He was trying to make amends, reaching out from beyond the grave for my forgiveness, I suppose.
Oh, don't talk about reaching out from the grave. That sounds so scary.
It all started a few years ago. Earl and I just happened to be attending the same auction for pedigree pooches. I remember there was this fine-looking beagle that Earl and I were both attracted to. I remember he had long, droopy ears and deep, dark, soulful brown eyes. The beagle was nice-looking too. Earl knew that I wanted that particular pooch, but he didn't care. He bid better for Bagel the beagle, beating me by bidding better for Bagel the beagle, before I could buy the beagle Bagel. When the ending bugle blew, my bid was banished, and I was left holding the bag.
I remember that beagle. Earl brought him home and I worked with him and trained him. He won several blue ribbons, including the Blue Kennel Banner. Did you have an entry in the Blue Kennel Banner show too?
Of course I did! I bought another beagle, Bangle. My Bangle was beat by Bagel at every dog show, and I suspected foul play. I think Earl was bribing the judges, but I could never prove anything.
But Bagel was better. He won Best of Show, Best of Hound, Best of Howl, Best of Bark. I know because I trained him. I taught him how to walk down the runway and howl and bark. I taught him everything he knew. And I know it all.
No, I know it all. You may know about dogs, but I know everything else there is to know about Earl. I know about his fame and his fortune. Go on with your story, Anna.
Excuse me, I'll give them a biscuit or two to quiet them down. Would anyone else care for one?
It's true. Bangle always lost to Bagel, but not because he was better. He became bitter. Not Bagel, but Bangle became bitter. So I took him to the famous dog psychiatrist, Dr. Bramble. It cost me a bundle, but he didn't bungle the business. After months of treatment, he finally pronounced him better. Cured, he said. He was so confident that he had overcome his poor self-image that he could be entered into the Best of Beagles competition in Burbank.
Oh, Burbank is so lovely in the springtime. Not at all like this gloomy place.
So I took Bangle to Burbank. It was so exciting. Banners were flying, people were bustling about, and beagles from all over the world were there to compete. Of course, Bagel was there too. My Bangle looked so beautiful. His coat was brushed to a glossy shine, his ears were waxed, his nose was polished. He looked great. When the judging began, I just knew this time my Bangle would win over Bagel.
Hooray! Bangle won! Would you like me to design a room for his award? Maybe something in a hunter's breed or a plaid?
Not so fast! That conniving Earl bribed the judges. This time I saw it. I saw him slip an envelope to one of the judges. Of course, he denied it, but once again, my Bangle was defeated by Bagel. Defeated once again by Earl Grey and his hounds.
Poor Bagel. But that doesn't mean that Earl left you any money in his will. I'm sure that he left it all to me, his one true love. Oh, how I miss him so.
Well, it's plain to see you're not mourning the death of your competitor.
Well, now, Bangle will have a chance to win all the awards and ribbons that should have been his all along.
Oh, how I wish the attorney would just get here. Is it still raining so hard?
Cats and dogs. Look at Bee, she's fallen asleep again. She is useless as a housekeeper. How long has she been around here anyways?
Bee, wake how long you've been housekeeper here at the mansion?
You want to know if there's deer at the mansion? Is it hunting season already?
Turn up your hearing aid. Bill was just asking how long you've been housekeeper here at the mansion. Of course, I know, because I know everything. But why don't you tell everyone else?
Oh, it's been a long, long time. Let's see. I was in my 40s when I first came here. It seems like a nice place, even if Earl did let his hounds have the run of the house. I was younger then. I didn't have arthritis, so I could keep up with the cleaning.
When I take over the mansion, we'll have to worry about cleaning the oriental rugs. I'm going to replace them with bamboo mats. That will go nicely with the lace curtains, don't you think?
10 years later, I developed an allergy to dogs. I sneezed and had trouble breathing, so I wanted to quit and find another job. I thought maybe somewhere on the coast. Ocean air might be good for me. I told Earl my intentions, and he surprised me.
Oh, Earl was good at surprises. He loved to surprise me too. He'd often hide when he saw me coming down the path on my bicycle, but I always found him. But soon he was surprised that I never gave up. Oh, how I miss him. Where else am I gonna find a person with a mansion like he had? I mean, manners like he had. You said that he surprised you?
Yes, he said he didn't want me to leave. In fact, he got real upset about it. He said that if I stayed on, he would make it right with me in his will. He promised me a pretty good-sized amount, too.
Oh, I hope you're not anything contagious. I'm afraid of germs.
About 10 years later, I got arthritis so bad in my hips and back, I could hardly get around. I wanted to quit then, too, but Earl talked me out of it again. He said he'd double the amount if I stayed on.
That was before he met me, of course.
About 10 years later, I had blood pressure problems. I nearly had a stroke. I told Earl I really had to quit. Then he told me I wouldn't get a dime from his will unless I was still working for him when he died.
I'm sure that you just misunderstood him. He intended to leave everything to me. That's why I stayed engaged. Oh, I know that you all think that I was after his money, but it was true love. I tell you, I loved everything about him.
Oh, yes, you loved his business, his estate, his stocks, his bonds, his cars, his boats, his money, everything, except for him.
Well, now he's finally gone, and it's time for me to collect. I've been looking forward to this day for 40 years.
40 years is a long time, but then again, you've known Earl all your life, haven't you, Cousin Eileen? Although you don't seem too saddened by his sudden death, though.
Who? Me? Well, of course I'm just devastated that my rich cousin has finally passed away. But he's in a better place, I'm sure. Any place will be better than this gloomy mansion of his. I offered to redecorate it for him, but never would let me. He said I should leave well enough is hard to find, or something like that. Oh, you're an interior decorator.
Yes, I took a correspondence course from the Home Interior Decorating for Dummies School. I had some lovely cheese curtains picked out for him, but Earl insisted on keeping those dark brown drapes instead. He said it was the same color as one of his prize-winning hounds. Personally, I thought they looked like they came from the flea market.
That's funny. Flea market drapes for Hound Mansion.
I had great plans for the library, too. I thought some country baskets would be nice out there instead of those trophies. Of course, that wouldn't go with the marble floor, so that would have to go. He didn't like that idea. But you she don't succeed, don't put all your eggs in one basket. I don't know why you put your eggs in the library, but then I never change courses in the middle of a job worth doing.
I thought Earl was a strange one. It must run in the family.
What'd you say? Your son has a kid?
Never mind, Bee. Go on with your story.
Once I heard Earl talking about the Great Dane, I got so excited. I thought, he's finally taking interest in Danish modern design. I ran up to my room and got my catalogs on Danish modern furniture. But when I showed them to Earl, he laughed at me. He said he was talking about a dog. How was I to know there was a breed of dogs called Great Danes? That's what I get for counting my chickens before walking a mile in their shoes.
I bet you didn't like getting laughed at. You might have made her angry enough to kill Earl so she could do whatever she wanted.
Well, who's laughing now? I'd like to know. He can't stop me. I could paint the whole mansion purple if I wanted to. Of course, I wouldn't do that. It wouldn't go with the chartreuse stripe wallpaper I ordered for the library. They say actions speak louder than an apple a day. So I'll start ordering waving leaf fabric right away.
Can't you just make those dogs be quiet? They scare me. They sound so fierce.
Quiet! Quiet! The storm is making them nervous. I hope that attorney gets here soon. If he doesn't, I'll take them down to the kennels.
That's where you belong anyway. I don't know why you're up here with real people. You spend more time with the dogs than with people.
It's true. I love those hound dogs. I work with them, eat with them, talk with them.
You talk with them? Come now, surely you don't believe they can talk to you.
Of course I do. You've heard of the horse whisperer. Well, I'm the hound whisperer. I'd be as famous as that horse whisperer if it wasn't for Earl. Hollywood would have made a movie about me, but Earl wouldn't let anyone know about me. He kept me in the background, unknown and unloved except by the hounds.
That must have made you pretty angry.
I was the one that taught those hounds everything they knew. I was the one that taught Hillary the hound how to howl with her ears pointed straight up. It wasn't easy, let me tell you. It should sound like this.
Oh, that sounds so mournful. Did you teach them to talk with you too?
Well, they were barking fairly well, but they weren't barking complete sentences. I had to teach them how to do that. Of course, you all know that dogs communicate with each other by barking, don't you? Oh yes, they have a language all of their own. For instance, hello sounds like this. And how are you sounds like this. But I don't want to give all my secrets away.
He's as nutty as that cousin with the curtains.
There was a time when a reporter for the New York Daily Bugle wanted to interview me. Somehow they heard about me and wanted to do a big story about me with pictures and everything. I would have been famous. But Earl was so jealous. He turned the Rottweilers on that poor reporter and he never came back. My one chance of fame was gone because of Earl's jealousy. But he promised to make it up for me in his will. And that's why I'm here, for the reading of the will.
Well, it's pretty plain to see you're glad that Earl is dead. Now you can collect all the trophies and awards and such yourself.
Yes, I'll be famous at last. But if you think I killed Earl, you're all barking up the wrong tree. I'm sure you're anxious to hear the will read too, Will. Didn't he promise to leave you an inheritance?
Yes, I know he promised that to you, Will. And I also know about those little accidents that kept happening down at the gym.
You mean like the time the sun lamp fell into the pool? I tripped, I tell you. I tripped over the extension cord and accidentally knocked the sun lamp into the water. How did I know Earl could move that fast? I mean, it was a good thing he could move that fast and get out of the pool before the lamp hit the water. My goodness, that could have been a tragic accident.
Yes, that was a very expensive sun lamp and it would have been ruined.
And what about that time he flew off the treadmill? I suppose that was an accident too?
Well, you know how unreliable those machines can be. Earl was doing quite well on the treadmill. He would plod along at a slow pace. He couldn't go very fast, because of his heart. Anyway, I was right by his side encouraging him when I noticed a little dust on the control panel. I was just cleaning the machine when suddenly it malfunctioned and went into high speed. Earl was thrown right off, clear across the room. I thought for sure he was a goner, but he was stronger than he looked. Survived that, too.
And that time with the barbells, I know about that because
You know everything! That little incident was nothing, really. I added weightlifting to Earl's schedule. Nothing too heavy, of course, because of his bad heart. Anyway, I had him lifting dumbbells, just light ones to start with. Then I noticed he was actually getting stronger. So I increased the weights to 75, then 80, then 150. I wondered how much longer he would last. How much longer he could keep blasting away on those barbells. But he continued to do well, and I continued to wait. Continued with the weights.
Gentlemen, you must be Attorney Jones.
Allow me to introduce myself. My name is Officer Ossifer with the Homicide Department.
A detective?
What are you doing here? Where's the attorney?
The attorney won't be coming. That was just a ruse to get you all here. You see, we now know who killed Earl of Gray's Hound Mansion. It was one of you.
Oh, I think I'm gonna faint.
You mean the killer is one of us?
I knew it was you. I knew it was you.
I knew it was you.
I knew it was you! I knew it was you!
I knew it was one of you. I know everything.
Earl was strangled with a silk scarf. And in the corner, we found the initials of EMG.
Cousin Arlene May Gray. You killed Earl? Your own cousin.
Just couldn't wait to get your hands on the mansion, could you?
I knew you had a mean streak in you, you greedy lunatic!
No! Wait! You don't understand. It's true. Those are my initials, but I embroidered them on all the silk scarves I made for Christmas gifts for everyone last year. I gave everyone a silk scarf and signed them each with my initials, EMG. But everyone received a different color, and I didn't make one for myself. I was going to, but you know how it is. A stitch in time gets the last laugh, and I had to go shop for all my other cousins, and...
That's true. She made me a red scarf, and her initials were in the corner.
She gave me a gray scarf.
Well, do you remember who got what? I mean, to whom got which? I mean, to whom you gave what color scarf?
Well, let me think. Phyllis red to match her shoes. B gray to match her hair. Now, what color scarf was used as the murder weapon?
It was green with a purple border. Do you remember who you gave that color to? That person is the murderer.
The suspense! I'm terrified!
I remember perfectly who I gave it to. It matched their sweater. I gave it to, well...
Stand back! You ruined it all! Now I'll never inherit that money. It's true. I got tired of waiting for Earl to kick the bucket. I faked those accidents, hoping to kill him off. But the old coot wouldn't cooperate. Eventually, I lost patience and told him I was going to teach him karate. So I threw him to the ground and showed him my special scarf chokehold.
You'll never get away. There are other officers at the front door.
Then I guess I'll have to use the back door. Stay back or I'm warning you, I'll shoot!
Oh, no, he's getting away!
Killed me! Take me away, please!
We're arresting you for the murder of Earl Grey. You have the right to remain silent. You have the right to authority.
Mommy!
Look at the mess on the rug! Am I supposed to clean that up? Well, no, thank you. I quit. I'm out of here.
You mean the attorney isn't coming at all? There's no reading up the will today? Then I might as well just go home and see if anyone responded to the ad I placed on the Internet Singles website. Speaking of silk, I think silk lampshades would be pretty in here. I'll go get my silk swatches.
The dogs guarded Earl even after his death. I think I'll give them a big treat.
Should have known this is just another one of Earl's dirty tricks. He never intended to make amends. I'm going home. Excuse me. I thought you
I knew it would rain today. I knew the attorney wasn't really coming. I knew there'd be no reading of the will. I knew the detective was coming. I knew it all along. And I know that this is the end.